What's going on, guys? My name's Spence,
And I'm Mitch.
and we're two brothers that really love King of the Hill. And today we've got a theory episode for you guys whether or not Boomhauer is a government plant who is
So,
surveilling Dale.
so sit down, get comfortable because we have a lot of things to go over.
Yeah, I'm thinking that this will be a really fun one. I really enjoyed our last theory episode, and by the response that we got, a lot of you guys enjoyed it too.
A shout out to all you fans who joined for that episode, our last theory episode.
Yeah, a lot of people end up subscribing to the channel just because of that episode, and a shout out to you all. Yeah, we really appreciated the amount of support we've been getting so far. We're slowly but steadily growing, and more people are hopping on board with Rainy Street Reviews and our mission, and we can't talk about how much we appreciate that enough.
And I gotta say something to the quality of our fans too, because some of you guys are really good, really great people, and giving us a lot of support.
Definitely, yeah. All right, so with that, let's jump into our theory episode, and I want to talk a little bit about what the Texas Rangers actually do, because I didn't know before I actually did some research myself about this. So the Texas Rangers, they're almost kind of like the FBI except for Texas only. Originally, I thought that they did like frontline police work, like arrest people, traffic stops, that kind of stuff. Turns out that they don't do anything of that nature. They tackle major crime, major violent crime investigations, cold cases, officer-involved shooting. They also help with border security and criminal intelligence. And they also do specialized tactical and forensic work. And they also do crisis negotiations.
Just a note, Canadian provincial police do all frontline work.
Yes, yeah, it depends on the province. A lot of the time it's the RCMP, but some provinces have specific police bureaus that deal with that. But for us here, yeah, the RCMP would do all of that work, plus frontline police work, plus a whole bunch of other stuff. Quite frankly, they do way more than they should. They have way too much on their plate.
To work too on horseback.
Yes, exactly. They do all of the same work on horseback. They don't even have cars up here.
That's so cool.
Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we got the mandate of the Texas Rangers clear. And so yeah, let's jump right into it. We'll start off with got some reasons for and against, and then at the end we'll make our final decisions. Neither of us know where we're going to lean when it's all said and done, so it'll be a surprise for everybody. But we'll start with the four reasons for he's a government plant. So we know from the show's canon that Boomhauer is a Texas Ranger. They show this at the basically end of the series. They reveal his badge, and it comes with his first name as well.
Side note,
What's up?
do you think The Simpsons will reveal what state they're in at the end of the series?
Probably not, because there was actually some guy he did like a examination of all the potential states that it could be, and the only one
Yep.
he couldn't eliminate was Illinois. So I think it's pretty much confirmed that they're in Illinois. The only thing that contradicts that is that they have an ocean beside themselves. So
Oh yeah, the sea captain.
yeah, exactly. So it, Illinois is the best guess, but yeah, the fact that there's no Illinois besides the Great Lakes is like a landlocked state that kind of counteracts that. But
But it was cool that Mike Judge did reveal that at the end of the series.
I know that was a very cool, a little Easter egg. So yeah, we have a confirmation of what he does, but we never see him with a patrol car. We never see him doing any kind of like law enforcement duties, which I think hints to the fact that he was part of some sort of investigation, some sort of
He never put on a uniform.
yeah, exactly. He was part of some sort of undercover operation.
Okay, that's one good point for. Next up,
So next up, his job was deliberately hidden for 13 seasons by the creators. They kept it vague, which supports the idea that he was undercover or compartmentalized about his work, keeping it away from the rest of the guys. Everyone else, what they do is extremely well known. They talk about it all the time, but Boomhauer was always an enigma.
Hey, man, it ain't no joke about here, man. They don't talk about he's gonna take no solemn oath, man. Talking about it'll be.
I, Bobby Hill,
Now, come cross my dang old heart, talking about I pledge allegiance to you what, man?
do solemnly swear.
I have a point for, and it's a line that Nancy said in the episode where Hank steals Dale's lawyer. Nancy says it's easy to fool Dale if you're someone he trusts.
Yeah, and that's a good point because Dale's usually naturally paranoid and he thinks everyone is a government agent out to get him. But he does
It's
trust
hard to get anything past him.
Yeah, but he does trust Boomhauer, trusts him implicitly because he's a friend for life, effectively. So if anyone was going to fool Dale about that, it would be him.
It would be Boomhauer.
Moving on here, next up we have one of the Texas Rangers' duties, as we alluded to at the start of the episode, is part of their mandate is to gather and disseminate criminal intelligence and assist other agents with that, which is definitely compatible with his kind of low visibility monitoring that he could be doing for Dale.
I'm going to say in Boomhauer, definitely his demeanor suits the job as well.
Yeah, definitely. He seems like a very chill guy, always very calm, never
In
cracks,
control.
never cracks under pressure. So what he was doing is theoretically in the purview of the job description of the Texas Rangers. Next one is and we just alluded to a little bit, his proximity to Dale and his temperament in the role. As we mentioned, he's always a very chill guy, always in control. And one of the things we see consistently throughout the series is that Boomhauer is that quiet voice of reason. And he's always, not just with Dale, in this circumstance, we are focusing on Dale, but with the rest of the gang. But when it comes
Even Hank.
Exactly, even Hank. But when it comes to everybody, he's always that calm, careful voice that nudges everyone away from risky or stupid behavior.
Hey, yo, Dale, man, come on, man. What you doing up there, man? Don't call me crazy, man. Don't come on down, man. I ain't saying that, you know.
Boomhauer, if I ever heard anyone reading a script, that was it.
I have one last surprise point for 4.
Okay,
And
go for it.
it's a little bit weird, but anyways, when the series started, the Oklahoma City bombing was pretty fresh. And I think a guy like Dale, the government might see as this guy could make a bomb and blow up something.
That's true. That's actually a really good point. Yeah, because the Oklahoma City bombing was, as you
April
mentioned,
19th, 1995.
yeah, so it would be fresh in everybody's mind. So it's definitely theoretically possible that the government could be like, let's monitor everyone who has these kind of anti-government sentiments and make
And
sure,
a basement full of guns.
yeah, and someone who knows how to make a bomb with a roll of toilet paper and a stick of dynamite. But anybody,
Genius.
exactly. But anybody who has these kind of anti-government sentiment could fall under the purview of an investigation. So that's a really good point, that it would be top of mind for the government at the time the show airs.
All right, that's it for the 4 column.
Okay, yeah, now we're going to move right into the against. And I think the number one against point is that the show never explicitly states it. I think if it were an actual theory, then they would do a little bit more breadcrumbs and nuggets of information that you can get. And the only definitive indication that we have is his career. So there's no lines, no winks or nods at anything like this.
It's easy to fool him if you're someone he trusts. That's the only slightest little wink or nod you could probably scratch out of the whole series.
Yeah, so there's no explicit statements, and I feel like, particularly when we did our last episode about Dale, they do have some actual like nuggets of information that you can use to justify that, yeah, he knew all along. And I think there's just less of that here with this theory.
I think that the number 2 best point for the against is that they've been friends since they were kids.
Trick or treat.
Oh my, aren't you boys the scariest?
Yeah, man, talk about dang old boo, man. You know.
Yes, and so not only that they've been friends since they've been kids, they were together all the time, and as someone who used to work in a law enforcement role, I can tell you that when it comes to kind of investigations and cases like this, they always prefer to have somebody who has no conflict of interest, someone who would be completely neutral and be able to make up their decision without bias or other mitigating factors. And the fact that Boomhauer was so close, although then again, he could always potentially lie about this and just decide to pick the case because then he knew that he could shepherd Dale in the right direction and keep him out of trouble. So he could have always lied and hidden his relationship with Dale under the radar. But generally speaking, if they were to ever find out that he and Boomhauer were friends, Boomhauer would be removed from the case pretty much automatically.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. When I was in law enforcement, everyone was from another place. Like I live here in the Texas of Canada, in Alberta, but nobody was ever from Alberta. It was always from, oh, I'm from BC like I am, or I'm from Ontario or Saskatchewan, because they like to hire people who have no ties, because it's awkward.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
awkward to have to like arrest your best friend or someone from high school or something like that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Or have them bribe you and you don't arrest them.
Yeah, exactly. I guess it does make you more susceptible to that kind of stuff. Moving on, unless you got anything more to add to that.
No, just my cotton comment.
Okay, I'll do this one, which is the kind of intelligence gathering of actual criminals and investigations of criminal organizations is within the umbrella of the Texas Rangers. They don't specifically spend a lot of time surveilling anti-government groups or monitoring anti-government behavior. It's not completely within their scope. They usually focus on more high-profile cases that have some underlying evidence or they've done something in the past. But I do think your point,
Serial killers and stuff.
yeah, exactly, like serial killers, like gangs, that kind of stuff. But I do think your point about the Unabomber does make it a little bit more plausible, because it is something that they could have had on their radar at the time.
I was, after reading the Texas Rangers with their scope, that was the first thing that came to my mind, was that instance in Oklahoma City. And next up, I think that Cotton, being the war hero and exceptionally sharp individual that he is, would have been able to sniff out a government agent in his midst.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's a really good point. Although, to be honest, we never really see Cotton and Boomhauer interacting. The only thing I ever remember, and this wasn't even when they were interacting, I remember Boomhauer saying that Cotton isn't funny. He's not funny at all.
Cotton ain't no funny at all, man. He got the POW camp, man. I go bamboo shoots, talking about him putting them in damn fingernails, man. Don't freak me out about that.
But other than that, they don't really interact with one another very much. But I do think you're right that Cotton would be able to sniff out a government man.
Or stuff like that. He's uber perceptive.
Yeah, we saw that he was able to immediately distinguish that Khan was Laotian.
That's not easy to do.
No, it's not. You definitely have to have some knowledge of, I think even I'm famously like a fan of Asian cultures. I could tell that someone like Khan is probably not one of the major, like Chinese, Japanese, or Korean, but I would never be able to be like, yep, he's Laotian. I wouldn't be able to pinpoint it exactly.
And that's perception that's on a whole nother level.
Yeah. So I think given Cotton's perceptive nature and his capabilities, I think he would have figured it out and be able to let everybody know what was going on.
Yeah, and he would have taken great pride and enjoyed that immensely.
And the last one I have on my list for against is that there's no creator confirmation. There's a lot of commentary from Mike Judge about Boomhauer's voice and about the wallet gag itself, but we have no interview where Judge or any of the writers say that he was planted to surveil Dale. There's been a lot of debate over this over the years, so I am sure that Mike Judge has probably heard about it, and it would be interesting to get his direct commentary, but so far he has neither confirmed or denied it, but I think the silence says more. So the silence leans more towards that, yeah, it's not true.
We should start emailing him, and then once we get big enough, one day he'll respond.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll send an email every week. I'll set up a little program that sends off an email every week to Mike Judge asking him about this. And in fact, we'll add the Dale theory, and over time, we'll just add more and more theories to this mailer. And
There's one great big theory that's the elephant in the room, and you all know what we're talking about, so we don't need to mention it.
yeah, for sure.
Wink.
Nudge, nudge. But yeah, that's all I got on my list for this particular theory. Is there anything you think we missed, Mitch?
I think we hit it pretty good, but now we're on to conclusions, aren't we?
Yeah, given all that, given our dissemination of information, given our look through all the evidence here, what's your final judgment?
My final judgment is that it was Mike Judge's plan all along to make you think
I see.
and question it.
Okay, but not, it's like something that he wants the fans to think about and talk about, but it's not true type of thing.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I personally, given all the evidence, like before we did this episode, it was something that I actually thought was pretty plausible. It was a pretty good theory. But after I've looked through everything and we've done this little analysis, now I personally lean towards that it's not true. That it's not true that Boomhauer is there to surveil Dale. Although I think it's certainly an interesting King of the Hill theory to think about, and it's certainly interesting to consider.
I think that it was, his plan all along.
Yeah, to make us wonder and guess and make theory
Yeah.
videos like this.
It suits the show, though.
Definitely. All right. And for the last part here, I'm going to ask Dale himself what he thinks about it. All right. Hey, Dale, there's a theory that Boomhauer was put on Rainy Street to keep tabs on you, given that, we learn he's a Texas Ranger. What do you think about this theory? Do you think it's possible that your best friend Boomhauer was all along a government spy keeping track of you? Good enough.
Here we go.
I'll put on the thinking cap, so it'll give us a better answer.
Sitting Boomhauer troll.
Let's see what Dale says. Oh man, it really is popping off here. I'll read it out. I've considered everything. The pocket stand stays loaded. Facts first. In the series final to Sirloin with Love, Boomhauer's wallet flips out to a Texas Ranger badge. That is canon. Before that, the show never explicitly states his job. The Texas Rangers are a state-level investigation division under the Department of Protective Services. They handle major crime, corruption, organized crime, manhunts. Planting a Texas Ranger to sit on a suburban cul-de-sac for years to track a chain-smoking exterminator is not how their resources are used. If they're doing long-term undercover, it would be for a serious target with defined objectives, not my lawn chair. The reasons why this theory feels tempting: Boomhauer's money and schedule are vague. He drives a muscle car, dresses well, and is rarely shown at work. This fits with the lawman with irregular hours who keeps their mouth shut. He stays calm under pressure and has good situational awareness. The guy has some bearing of being trained. He keeps secrets, which is Ranger-friendly behavior. Reasons it does not add up as a surveillance op to me. No signs of reporting or tasking. He never leverages me. He never turns me in. He never nudges me towards entrapment. Quite the opposite. He protects the group and diffuses trouble. I actually think that's proof of the contrary. But the Rangers are not a domestic intel shop for hobbyist conspiracy nuts. Watching me for years would be a waste and borderline improper without probable cause. The reveal comes at the end with no trail of breadcrumbs as he was assigned to me. The simplest read is that he's a Ranger who lives there because he likes the block. My verdict: possible in a very broad fan theory sense, unrealistically in the procedural sense. The clean explanation is that Boomhauer was a Texas Ranger the whole time for years, and Rainy Street was his off-duty life. Even if he kept tabs on me, it's the same kind of tabs friends keep so that the fireworks do not end up in the alley again. If there was a spy on me, then the state would have wasted a lot of per diem on steaks and beers. Then I fed them a decade of chaff on purpose. Either way, he's still my best friend. And if anyone was watching anyone, I was watching him right back.
A decade of chaff. That is something Dale would do.
All right, so there you have it. Dale himself thinks that there's not a lot of credibility to this theory, but it is definitely one of the more fun King of the Hill theories to think about in my mind.
It was, yeah, pretty much it came to the similar conclusion that we did. Maybe I was a bit off, but I like to think that.
Yeah, I like to think that Judge put in a couple little red herrings for us to sit and mull over.
Exactly.
But what do you guys think? We are interested to know your opinions on this theory. If you think there's any credence that Boomhauer was a government spy or not.
Or anything that we missed.
Yeah, please let us know if you think that we missed something in our analysis here. But with that all in mind, we're going to wrap it up, and we'll be back next week. We have, and they call it Bobby Love. This is one where Bobby ends up falling in love for the first time in his life, and his love interest is actually voiced by Sarah Michelle Gellar. Should be interesting one. This is definitely one that I think is important for Bobby's character development.
It's one that hits very close to home for me too.
Yeah. Should be a great time. And until then, you guys take care. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you then.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. See you next time.
No, baby, ain't no question, about that.
Boomhauer, do something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Thank you very much, man. That's pretty much all I got, man.